finally found a cookbook that I love, and it's full of tips, trivia, lots of humor, and some great recipes that are nutritious and delicious. It sounds almost too good to be true, but it's not. Eat, Shrink, and Be Merry? I'm game for that, and we're here in Greta's kitchen in her own house. Let's go meet her. Greta, you've got a lot of things on the go. You have now your third cookbook and a TV show. Enlighten us.
It's been 10 years in the making, and you know, our first cookbook, Looney Spoons, was probably 1996, I think, and now 2007. We've done 2 more cookbooks after that, Crazy Plates and Eat, Shrink, and Be Merry, which came out maybe a year and a half ago, and is my personal favorite of the 3.
Why is that?
It's my favorite cookbook because we just put our blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we had learned so much over the 10 years of doing the cookbooks that we were able to incorporate, you know, even reader feedback and everything that we learned. I really think I'm a better cook now. You know, I've had a lot more practice. You take reader tips and you can put them into the book to improve it. My sister Janet went back to school to become a registered nutritionist, so I think that really adds a lot to the book, and I think Eat, Shrink, and Be Merry is a really good combination of what we both love to do. I love to cook, she's the health expert, and she loves to write, and of course we both have our corny senses of humor.
Which makes it really interesting to read. How did you come up with that concept?
Well, way back when we wrote Looney Spoons, all of the low-fat cookbooks were really similar. They were written by doctors and dietitians, and they were very dry and clinical and maybe a little bit on the boring side, and you really couldn't tell one from the other. And our idea was to make the topic fun. Let's make people laugh while they're learning. And you know, what's wrong with having fun in the kitchen? I remember getting rejected by all the publishers, and they all said that food and humor didn't go together, that people wanted serious cookbooks. And I thought, what, you have to have a scowl on your face when you're cooking? Like, why can't you be having a good time? So we took the topic and made it fun. We used cartoons and jokes and trivia and a kind of a crazy wild layout, and you know, it led to the rejection from the publishers, but eventually we turned that book into a bestseller that sold almost 1 million copies. So I think we were on the right track.
What are your recommendations for meal preparation techniques that would be more healthy?
You know, we're so lucky now that the grocery stores are so well stocked. We can get just about every ingredient that you can imagine at your local grocery store, whereas, you know, 10 years ago when we did our first cookbook, they weren't there. They were at the gourmet shops and the specialty shops. So in general at the grocery store, people may have heard this before, but all the healthy stuff is usually around the outside. It's the inside aisles that we call Trans Fat City, Janet and I, where there's, you know, it's all the packaged stuff with all the processed chemicals, and buy as least amount that you can from those rows, and try to stick to like the fresh meats and the lower fat dairy and the produce aisle with the fruits, and you can put a healthy meal together.
It all starts in the grocery store.
Well, it does, and people have to take the time to make healthy foods. If you don't plan, most people don't even know what they're going to have for dinner when they're driving home. That's a problem. I think people that take the time, let's say on a Sunday, and go, okay, I know I'm going to be home every night this week. What am I going to eat? What do I need to keep in stock? And get organized. It's so easy to whip together a meal then. But when people are frazzled, that's when they go through the drive-thru. That's when they bring home the bucket of chicken. That's when they order the pizza. So healthy eating requires planning. Not a lot of it, but just, you know, if you spent 20 minutes every week thinking about what you were going to eat during the week and wrote out your grocery list, you'd be set.
So 20 minutes could mean losing 20 pounds in a very short amount of time.
You could lose 20 pounds by 20 minutes a week. It's true. It's amazing. People, and it's out of sight, out of mind too. If you don't keep the crappy stuff in your cupboards, you're not going to eat it. You keep it there, you're going to eat it. And when you're starving, that's when your willpower is weakest, and that's when you're going to grab those things.
I love how you end off your cookbook with one to die for recipe. Everything in moderation, including moderation. I love that.
We didn't put a high-fat recipe in Looney Spoons or Crazy Plates, but in Eat, Shrink, and Be Merry, we have this triple chocolate decadent layer cake at the very end of the book. And even for the nutritional analysis, we don't tell you on that one. We say, trust us, you don't want to know, because there are so many calories and so many grams of fat, it's through the roof. However, you know, healthy eating isn't all or nothing. It's not what every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth that's important. It's what you do consistently over the long run that matters most. You can have a treat like a decadent chocolate cake every once in a while. We believe in something called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, try to eat more healthfully, get more fiber in your diet, get less of the bad fats. 20% of the time, eat what you crave. And you know, what's amazing, what will happen is the more you start to eat healthfully, the more you'll crave healthy foods. People never believe that until they start doing it. And then they don't want the fettuccine Alfredo because they don't feel good after they eat it.
Greta, thank you so much for having us in your home. Now, what you eat really does matter. So eat, shrink, and be merry are very wise words to live by. And it's all right here on Grand River Living.